everybody. Thanks for coming again and joining us here on the ESPN Honolulu Facebook page and Fan Friday Talk Story. And you know what? One of the players that has at University of Hawaii Athletics that has really just had a terrific, outstanding season. I mean, has had great seasons before. Final year, took advantage of the pandemic and getting a repeat season, and has graciously and thankfully decided to come back and be a part of the Wahine basketball program, and is just having an outstanding year. The team is having a great season. I'm talking about graduate student Amy Atwell. And Amy, unlike undergraduates, those regular undergraduates, as a graduate student, your schedule is even busier than before. So thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of this segment.
Of course. Thank you for having me on.
Well, we're recording this on a day after a terrific win on Saturday versus UC Irvine, in which they were a few percentage points over Hawaii in terms of the conference standing at number one. Hawaii was number two, but a big and resounding victory. Now Hawaii is now atop of the conference standings. You had another outstanding game. How do you feel the day after?
Good. I mean, it's good to soak in the win. Kind of lost 9 early this morning, but it's switching focus pretty quick to this next road trip coming up, and we got 4 more games in the regular season to finish out. So soak it in the moment a little bit, but then it's pretty quick turnaround and move on.
So when this airs, it's going to be Friday. You'll be on your road trip. You guys will actually have played the first game on Thursday. What is the schedule like for road trips? Like, when do you guys actually leave Honolulu?
So we normally leave Tuesday mornings, depending on kind of where we're playing at. Will depend on how early we're flying out. I think we're flying out pretty early Tuesday because we're going to drive to Bakersfield afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So Tuesday is really usually just typical travel day. Fly in, bus to wherever we're going. Depending on how late we get there, we'll normally do a recovery session, like a stretch and row with our trainer. And then Wednesday, kind of get it going with study hall practice, prep, and then obviously play Thursday, practice Friday, play Saturday.
Now, I don't know if one of the benefits you could say about having the pandemic is because now a lot of classes were forced to having to go online, whereas before on a road trip, right, it's like you're missing the classes. You got to just get the information from your professor before you leave, do the best you can on your own. There might be maybe an advisor with you on the road trip, a lot of times not. But nowadays or this season, like, can you still, if there's time, connect in with Zoom to the class? I know there's time differences, but does that allow you to do that kind of stuff?
Yes and no. It is a little bit more flexibility, but because of our kind of crazy schedule on the road, a lot of us don't have the time to check in anyway. We still have travel letters that excuse us from class. We're still kind of catching up, and especially with the time difference. And our practice block on the road is normally all over the place in our film sessions. So it's pretty tough to still squeeze into class, but we definitely still have those study halls to get the study done.
What are you working on in graduate school, by the way?
Pretty much the same as my undergrad. So I did a double degree in marketing and business management, and my master's is pretty much the same thing. It's a master's of marketing management. Yeah.
And how long would that, like, the master's program take? Like, is it going to take this just one academic year?
Yeah. So I'll take, I think, my final class in this summer coming up, and then be done. Yeah. So it's one full academic year because I started it in fall last year.
So you had a double major as an undergrad. So I don't know how you guys do it. You're a student athlete, which takes up so much time, and it's all year long where you have training, off-season training, all this time. It's hard enough to do one major. You went double major, got that done, and then you have a year of eligibility, and you're like, you know what? I like this hectic schedule so much. I'm going to come back,
hang around
another year, go into a master's program, which is more intense. You must really love basketball.
Something like that. I think it's a mixture. I really love the sport, really have loved living in Hawaii, and kind of just this lifestyle. It is very full on a lot of the time, but once you kind of get the hang of it and you get it down, it's pretty manageable for the most part, especially with the support staff we have around us. But yeah, I've loved my time here.
I lost count. Okay, so because of the added year, so how many years at the University of Hawaii have you now been? Because you had a redshirt year, right?
Yeah, and then this is my 6th year.
This is the 6th year.
So I had the redshirt year, played 4 years, including last year, and then this is my 5th year playing because of COVID.
I think head coach Laura Beeman said, like, this is her 10th year as the head coach. So you have been with her more, a significant majority of her entire career as the head coach at the University of Hawaii, which was kind of like, we're
Yeah.
like, wow, she's been here almost as long as I have. Does that kind of, do you, by the way, do your teammates give you some gas for being an older player?
Oh, definitely. I think every time it's brought up how long I've been here, the number of years just continues. It's 15, it's 17, it's 23. And I definitely get a lot of grandma and auntie jokes a lot. So yeah,
What's the kickback from you when some freshman or sophomore gives you that kind of grief?
I just laugh it off. There's not much I can say at this point.
Do you remember even who came with you the very first year you were at the University of Hawaii? Do you remember some of that freshman group that you were with?
Yeah, so my incoming class, we actually had a big class. There was like 6 or 7 of us. I had Julissa Tago, obviously, Courtney, Taylor Donahue, McKenna Woodfolk, Kalia, Aiko Kaloi, and I feel like I'm forgetting them. We had a transfer, Adrian Darden at the time, and then I think myself is 7. Sounds about right.
I think so. And I know
Yeah,
Courtney, well, Julissa finished her eligibility last year, right? And Courtney as
the year
well,
before.
the year before,
They both, yeah, they both graduated in their 4 years.
in their 4 years. And then you obviously stayed on an additional. By the way, Courtney is also from your home country of Australia. Do you still keep in touch with her by chance?
Yeah, here and there, kind of just checking how she's doing and stuff like that. She just signed with a semi-pro team back home, actually, that I saw. So congratulated her on that. But yeah, she's doing super good.
By the way, what's your plans? You know, after this year finally comes to an end, I mean, you're going to get your master's degree. You have your double bachelor's. You got your basketball prowess. What's next?
That's a good question. Hopefully playing professional in some aspect, country somewhere. I kind of have kept my options open in terms of that and what I want to do next, and will have kind of pushed off any talks and decisions till after season and just focusing on playing basketball right now, and then I'll see what doors open up after that.
Now, Amy, I have mentioned this on the air. I even mentioned this to your head coach, Laura Beeman, and she totally agrees. Um, I have not seen a collegiate athlete make such a significant developmental change for the better at the end of their time as a collegiate athlete. You know, a lot of times you see, you know, increased improvement like from a freshman to a sophomore year, or maybe even from freshman to sophomore, junior. You can see, wow, they improved their physical strength, or they improved their shooting outside touch, or some element of the game. You, most of your career, have kind of played, in my eyes, a similar way. And then suddenly this year, you added so much more offensive repertoire. Like you can score not only from the 3-point line, from the mid range, from the post, the runner. You've added so much more offensive moves to create space for your 3-point shot. You physically got in greater, even physical shape. So, I mean, what led to all of that happening?
I think it was a mixture of things. I think for the first time, physically wise and injury wise, this is the healthiest I've been. I battled a lot of knee injuries early on in my career. And I finally kind of had a clean slate and a clean break of it's good now. I've been able to put a significant chunk of work together without having any setbacks. So it's definitely that. And then also just kind of, okay, this is my last year. It's do or die kind of thing. It's the last go at it.
And you did that from a pandemic period. So it's not as if everything was normal and you could do your training the way anyone could normally do in an off season. So you made these significant changes under a lot of restrictions. I mean, so much more kudos to you. At what point last year did you decide I want to come back for this year?
I was kind of thinking about it all the way through, and the door was open, and I was discussing with Beeman throughout the season, like in terms of scholarships, and even if she's going to have the ability to bring me back. And kind of early on, I wasn't really thinking about coming back. I was kind of like, I've done my 5 years. I think it's time to take my next step, whatever that is. And as the season kind of progressed, all of our preseason games got cancelled. Our first couple conference games got cancelled, and then it was just kind of all over the place we got thrown into quarantine 3 or 4 times. And it was like probably halfway through conference, I was like, this hasn't really been a senior season that I kind of wanted. And at that point, Beeman was like, I think we're going to have the scholarships. If you want to come back, seriously think about it. We want to bring you back. But it was kind of like, I'm not putting any pressure on you to make the decision. But I think it was probably like a week or two before senior night, they were like, okay, we kind of need to know if we're going to be honoring you on senior night or not. And I was just like, I'm coming back.
So was it, I mean, did you just sit in your room and say, okay, heads, I'm staying, tails?
Flip a coin.
Really? I mean, was it just as simple as that?
Yes and no. I kind of, in my mind, it was going to be easier for me to say, yes, I'm coming back, and then decide later not to, rather than say, no, I'm not coming back, and then regret not being able to have that opportunity. And just as the year progressed last year, I was just like, this is not the senior year I want to have. I feel like I've left a lot of stones unturned still, and I have a lot more I could have done. So in the end, it was a pretty easy decision. But yeah.
How did your parents get in this whole process here? Like, where were they standing? Was it kind of like, Amy, do what you want to do? Did they have any kind of lead toward one way or the other?
Obviously, they wanted me to come home. I've been gone 5 years at that point, and they're like, we miss you. We want you to come home, but if you want to stay, we're going to support you 100%. They were kind of like, obviously, we miss you, but it's your decision if you want to stay. And they were happy with me getting my master's if I did stay as well. So they were super supportive about it all.
You know, so your time in Hawaii, your time playing basketball, I mean, there's still more to be had, but you're seeing the sunset now where the season's about to come to an end. Your academic year is about to come to an end. So I kind of want to ask you some questions about your time in Hawaii, okay? At the University of Hawaii, in the state of Hawaii. These questions relate to this period, these 6 years of your life, okay? All right.
Okay.
The biggest takeaway you will go home with from your time?
Jeez. Outside of all the relationships I've made, probably just how I've grown as a person. I've had to move across the country, not even the country, move across the world at 18 years old and kind of find my feet on my own, which made me grow up a lot sooner than I thought I was going to. And just kind of going through everything I've gone through over here, having my family in my back pocket always, but kind of being on my own at the same time, and kind of learning to deal with that and really finding out who I was as a person and how I kind of deal with stuff and how I bounce back. I've learned a lot about myself over these past 6 years, that's for sure.
A food item that you learned to love while here?
Poke.
Really?
Easy, and it's going to be the biggest one I miss when I go home too. When I eventually leave, I'm going to crave it all the time. I eat it way too much.
Is it the spicy or just the regular?
Spicy ahi. Yeah.
If a friend, a family member were to suddenly come over next week, the first place you would take them to is?
Probably Off the Hook Poke Market in Manoa. That's where I go.
Okay. Best road trip memory is?
Oh, geez. Okay, so it would have been the CSUN road trip my redshirt sophomore year. Beeman took us all to see Black Panther when it had first come out in movies the day before the game. And then the next day we played CSUN on their senior night, and we beat them to take the second seed into the tournament. And it was the locker room after that game I will never forget. Like, it's burnt in my memory, the excitement, and everyone was just throwing water bottles and slamming on the lockers. That's for sure. Never going to forget that one.
And I saw the video going on the bus. Everyone did the Wakanda salute to go on the bus, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was that road trip. Yeah. Best friend?
Julissa Tago, easily.
Most humorous anecdote that you can talk about a coach, one of the persons on the coaching staff?
One moment, or who's the funniest?
Could be one moment, or just someone that says, when you think about a funny anecdote, you think about coach, that person.
I hate to say it, but probably Coach K. She's always got a lot of little comments up her sleeve. When she first kind of came out here, we were still kind of developing that relationship, but once we're very similar in terms of we like to joke around a lot and kind of make light of situations. And she used to walk over to me just in the middle of practice. Sometimes when Coach B is talking to the whole group and kind of just come up and whisper some ridiculous, totally off-topic stuff in my ear, or like just make some silly comments. She's quite funny, but yeah, definitely her.
All right. What is an activity that you did here for the first time?
Kind of surfing. I did surf like once or twice growing up, but that was really it. And then it wasn't until COVID hit and I came back here after the tournament got cancelled, and I had one of those 8-foot foam wave storm boards from Costco in my living room for about 6 months because an old friend had left it with me. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, I have no excuse now. I have no basketball, no class, nothing. I have no excuse. So I picked that up during COVID and went surfing almost every second day, and really kind of found to love it.
Wow, that is really cool. A best piece of memorabilia that you will take home with you?
Hopefully a Big West Championship ring.
Oh well, okay. Up until now, though. Up until now.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have anything like physical that is like really stands out and is like, yep, that. I think it's just a lot of the relationships that I've made over here that will stay with me forever.
And have you thought about what your senior shot is going to be?
Oh, it has to be a 3.
How is it going to happen, though? Is someone special going to pass it to you? Where are you going to take it on the floor? Give me the details of that, if you could.
I haven't thought that deeply into it, but probably top of the key somewhere in the slots is where I shoot most of mine. And my parents and sister are actually coming out for senior night, so one of them will throw it to me. Probably my dad.
All right. Okay, and last question. Team is tied. The game is tied. There are 3 seconds left. Hawaii, your team is inbounding, as usual, on the mid-court sideline. You guys have the ball for the final shot. Coach Beeman says, Amy, I want you to take the final shot. You design how this play will be. How will that play be? 3 seconds. Did I say 3 or 7? 3 seconds? Let's give it 5. 5 seconds. Yeah.
5. Okay. 5 seconds being inbounded at half court.
Yes.
Jeez. That's kind of an awkward amount of time. Because if it was anything less, I would probably just back screen lob. But
okay, make it 4.
5 seconds.
Okay, 4 seconds.
4. We're gonna take it down now. Probably some kind of off-ball screen action, staggers. I would probably 4 seconds.
And more specifically, you're inbounding on your bench side. So in other words,
my bench side,
the basket that you're going to is on your bench side. You're inbounding from in front of your bench. So that spot.
I would say have one of the guards inbounding it to probably the point guard, and then I don't know. You said game's tied, so we don't need a 3.
We don't need a 3.
Need any type of score.
Yep.
I would say bringing me off some type of stagger action when they're most likely chasing to go kind of back to the basket. But I don't have anything more specific than that.
Are you catching it on the far side for a shot or more on the near side?
I'm catching it on the far wing, depending on if I come straight off or curl it.
Okay, so you're going far wing. Okay.
Yeah.
Mid-range, you're going to go behind the 3? Does it matter? No?
Probably it's probably going to go for the 2 because we don't need the 3.
Right. But, You're tied. Okay. Great. I hope we see that play at some point this season. That would be kind of nice. And then I will say that is the play Amy designed and told Coach Beeman, let's run it. All right. Hey, Amy, you have had such an awesome career. You are having an awesome season. The team is having a great season. First of all, good luck to you on this road trip coming up. Good luck in the remainder of the season, and we look forward to continued success with the Big West Tournament. And good luck to you in your future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.